her absolutely amazing. Her testimony to Shriners was awesome. I thought that was a high point just for us as Moxie doing what we're doing with Shriners. The other thing I thought was really cool, the Racing for Life program with Steve Moore.
Yes.
Yep.
You know, I mean, he shows up with a just absolutely gorgeous modified.
That thing is cool.
That car had a lot of people around it all week.
Yep.
The bright pink, the fluorescent pink, and the green and the purple, and what a beautiful car. Not traditional Steve Moore style of race car, but it grabbed a lot of attention. Now, he's selling those ribbons, $10 a ribbon. Goal is $10,000 for the entire season. Okay? All that money being donated towards cancer research. Here at that show, Steve raised $700, guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well on his way to the 10 grand.
I'd say that's a pretty good start, and the season we haven't even got from the grandstands yet.
Right.
So $700 to start that whole deal. He said he came here with a goal of $250.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
That was his goal of $250 for the 2-day show that we did here. He did 700. That's an average of 350 ribbons a day. No, 35 ribbons a day.
Yeah, and I didn't get to buy mine because he didn't have the right color made yet.
Which surprises me because he had like 318 colors.
I know. I know.
There was every color you could imagine.
His table looked like a pack of Skittles thrown all over it.
Yeah.
Well organized, though.
Oh, yeah.
He got everything in the bags, and it just, there was colors everywhere. And
those Skittles were contagious.
Boy, between Steve Moore and Lynn Waterman and the rest of his gang selling, Mark Von Sill, those guys selling those Racing for Life ribbons, that was a cool deal. I think that got a lot of attention, and great start to that.
Great cause.
Absolutely great. Glad to help Steve out with something like that because it's always neat to see racers give back.
And racers always do.
It's one of the few sports that truly that the athletes are so interactive with the fans.
Yeah.
Well, and really, they're interactive and care about their sport. I mean, where else do you see a semi-professional athlete taking a weekend just to visit the fans, just to raise awareness about their sport?
Like a lot of the car owners or drivers or families, they were here all weekend. I mean, they were here from open to close the entire weekend. Darren Koffel and his daughter were here the whole time.
Look at Nick Anderson and Ron Berry Jr.
Yeah, they were here.
They were literally here before we got here.
They were.
Tracy Muse, they were here most of the time.
And we had to kick them out of the mall.
Yeah.
We actually had to, hey guys, we got to, housekeeping wants to get everything cleaned up. We got to roll, but how many times did we see Nick Anderson and Ron Berry in front of the Moxie booth and listen to the interviews and participating? I saw several drivers signing autographs and, interacting with the kids and the fans. I know there was a $3,000 sponsor that came about from this show.
For who?
So a certain individual that we can't say that until the whole thing is done. But there is a work. They're working on a $3,000 agreement. So, and I'll tell you, it was just a chance thing where, and I'm kind of proud of this.
I think I know.
I'm kind of proud of this because this guy walks up and says, "Hey, I heard you're the one that organized this." I said, "Well, me and my team, my crew, we organized it and put it all together." He goes, "How do I get involved? Can I donate something? Can I do this?" I said, "Well, what's your business?" And he says, "Well, it's this and this." And I go, "Oh, cool." I said, "How do you advertise?" He goes, "Well, we're not real, we're not real old. We've only been in business about a year." And I said, "Okay, what are you doing to advertise?" He goes, "Oh, newspaper, whatever." I said, "Listen, you need a captive crowd. You need to go talk to this guy on this car." "Really?" And his crew guy was kind of standing next to me, but it was one of those things where it just fit. That sponsor with that car and that driver, it just fit. I said, "Hey, go talk to these guys and see what you guys can work out." Ends up being a $3,000 deal for a driver, and I'm thinking, hey, where's Moxie's cut? 10%.
Finder's fee. Finder's fee.
Yeah. But it was just one of those things. It's cool to see stuff like that. That doesn't happen very often, and I thought, that was pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
So that's that's what we do. We're here to help. We're here to help the sport.
And the donations and stuff like for Shriners and Steve's cancer cause and all that stuff, the dollar amounts may sound small, but every little bit helps.
Every dollar.
And I don't care what anybody thinks if they think it's not enough or whatever, but man, there's a lot of people that put their heart into that stuff that it all means something.
It really does, and it's we're talking about kids.
Yeah,
we're talking about trying to give kids a brighter, something to look forward to.
Just a smile on their face.
Absolutely.
Is
well,
rewarding.
and you, Warren, bringing up what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean,
should we? we hear.
If you want to do it, that's your deal.
You know what?
Your time.
Speaking of the low dollar amounts, I'm not saying anybody out there didn't try or kept tight pockets, but anyway, I'm gonna put another $50 personally on the Shriners Fund that will be taken up to the Shriners kids on the 10th
For
of
the Victory
April,
Visit.
The Victory Visit. And I want to challenge anybody and everybody out there to match or beat my $50 contribution.
So Warren's going to donate $50 personally to the Victory Visit. So that's Moxie's going to take $750 up there to donate to the hospital
we are right now
for the transportation fund through Buzz's branch of Shriners.
Right.
And he's challenging anybody else out there, hey, match my 50. Step it up. Let's help these kids.
Yep.
Warren is not.
I don't have a lot of money,
but you know what? $50, like you said, every dollar counts. $50
Yep.
is $50, and that can that's the transportation fund. That's what that money is going for, to help those kids in need. And that transportation fund is a very, very important deal for the Shriners.
And that's $50. That $50 right there. That's 18 gallons of gasoline right now.
Right,
Yeah.
or that could go towards one of them $3,500 chairs they need up there,
or something.
However they see fit.
Exactly. That's a really good thing. So if you guys want to sound off, call in and whatnot. Meet Warren's challenge. 503-862-3478.
on the Crocker's Cars call-in line.
Call-in line's open.
Or come in and see Corey or Sandra or whoever's at the counter at Jetstream Aqua Massage in the Heritage Mall.
Or if you don't feel like being on the air and want to remain anonymous, hit us up on the Swears Trucking chat line.
Absolutely.
Right there in the Spreaker app, folks. Mm-hmm. We're easy to get a hold of. Call lines are open. Chat windows up. Let us know what you think. What was your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of the show. Mine, or are you asking the public?
Both. What was your favorite?
We'll ask you since
what
you're right
was
here.
What was your most favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of the show, I think it was. I like the interviews. I like the fact that we can bring the personalities behind the wheel on the air for people to kind of listen to. Like, the interview with Mike Medell. How fun was that?
That was fun.
Somebody we don't get to talk to every week.
Right. It was cool. And the deal with Julia, and then Ron, or not Ron, but Tracy Muse.
Yeah.
Tracy Muse was
Yeah.
a kick in the pants to have on the air. And, there was just so many good interviews. And
Lauren Cruzy.
Oh man, him and Steve Moore.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wild. To me, I think that was fun, just because the fans, and the sponsors get to hear the personalities, and kind of you're kind of introduced to the people that are making this whole thing happen. And between that, and I think the anticipation of the show was, for me, it was you get that excitement. It's like you're going to the track for the first time that year.
Yeah.
That to me that was pretty cool. I like that. The worst part was probably watching them roll out, thinking, all right, well, this deal's over.
I was kind of relieved.
Well, I kind of was too, but
it
then
was a long weekend.
It was.
But it was
that
well
means,
worth it.
That
in
means
all
at the same
aspects.
time, okay, from here on out, it's racetrack time.
Yeah.
Now things are
Yeah.
going to be
go time.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So get your fix at the Willamette Speedway.
Right. Yeah.
What about you, Warren? What was your favorite part of the show?
I think I already answered that, didn't I?
I don't know.
Mine was talking with Buzz in the interviews. That was
wow.
Just that and seeing old acquaintances and making new ones. I met, I've been friends with Danny, for example, on Facebook, and never met her.
Awesome
So
individual.
So we introduced, and it's very nice to meet you, personally,
Yeah.
finally. So,
Warren,
just all kinds of
I don't
fun
mean
stuff.
to cut you off.
That's all right.
We
Go
just
ahead.
got a text message here.
I was
And
just rambling anyway.
Jim Schofield Carts and Parts.
Right.
Talk about a guy that helped out with the show. This guy showed up
He was
right
here
after
the whole
we
time.
did, and he had a big air tank. He'd walk through and make sure it wasn't even his cars, that all the cars had air in their tires. I mean, just little stuff like that. Guys helping out.
Somebody said he was using propane.
Oh, jeez.
I'm kidding.
I did see that, and that was actually something going on Facebook. I wasn't even going to get involved with that. I just let it go. But
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
It's a speed secret. Quiet,
But
guys.
a text message from Jim that says he's going to match your challenge
Right
of
on.
$50.
Thank you, Jim.
And he's going to add $50.
Oh, sure.
So your $50 challenge has already put up $150.
Right on. Right on. Thank
That's
you very much,
cool,
Jim.
and that's courtesy of Schofield Carts and Parts. Jim Schofield, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Another stand-up guy.
And there was a guy that just, how many times did he walk up to us during the show? Hey, do you guys need anything? What's
Yeah.
going on? How
Yeah.
can I help? I mean, that's cool. It was a cool deal to have. Those are the kind of people in racing that kind of keep this whole thing held together and make it fun.
Exactly.
Camaraderie amongst the drivers and families
man.
is just second to none.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people did you see walk by the us doing interviews with drivers and waving, smiling, nodding? I don't know. I know
Lots and lots.
Exactly. I know on more than one occasion I'm sitting there hitting Corey, going, "Who the hell is that?" I have no idea who that
It's,
is.
and the funny part is when you're doing an interview like that, like say we're sitting out in the public and we're at the table where everybody can walk by and see you doing the interview and they can hear what we're talking about and they start waving.
Yeah.
It's almost distracting because it catches your eye and you got a train of thought going and
Yeah. Then you do the, who is that?
yeah, you're looking at each other like, do you know that?
Well, one of us knew who it was at all times.
Yeah.
but-
The other part I thought was kind of weird was at the table doing the interviews, people are walking up, taking pictures, tick, click, 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 click.
Saw quite a few on Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff went around. The interview that we did with Northwest Monster Trucks, which was different. I mean, here was a.
I didn't see that. Did you see
I
the
did
replay
see
of it?
I
I
did.
sent you guys a link. Didn't you guys get it?
I got it.
No.
It's on YouTube, and I'll tell you what, I've never seen. We obviously do this podcast.
Voice only.
It's voice only, so I can sit there and I can listen to what I said and I can critique my voice. But sitting there and watching my facial reactions and talking with my
I
hands,
think I said something about that.
I'm sitting there going, "Damn, I need to have my hands duct taped down.
Yeah.
I must be part Italian here."
I'm worse about that than you guys are, but I talk with my hands a lot. But
No, we're
that
all
was kind of
we're
a
all
fun
critics
deal.
of ourselves.
But it was fun. It was really.
Did it turn out good? Were you guys,
It did.
Were you
It
guys
did.
happy with
Yeah,
it?
well, I'll show you during intermission
Yeah.
or something here. But yeah, it turned out pretty well.
And thank you, Pat, for driving all the way down.
Oh, Pat,
as
there's
a-
another one to mention.
Well,
Another
he's
shout out.
the one from he's the one that
Right.
did the interview.
Right. From
all the way
Northwest
down
Monster Trucks.
From Tacoma.
Yeah.
He drove down from Tacoma and said, "Wow."
He took a lot of pictures. I saw those on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. He posted a couple hundred.
Yeah.
I know he did talk to us, and he said, "You know what? I've never been around this dirt track racing stuff. This stuff is cool." And every time I looked over, he's talking to a new driver somewhere.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he was seeking the drivers and finding them and learning. I mean, he had a genuine interest in what we do. And this isn't monster trucks, bud. This is some high speed action here. And
We do fast trucks.
yeah, nothing against nothing against monster trucks. I mean, it's not my thing. That they're pretty cool with what they're doing with those things,
Oh, yeah.
back flips and front flips, but it's just not that side by side door banging dirt track action. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I can't wait until we get him down here. He said he's going to come down for a couple of races at least, and to get him up there in the booth and let him see firsthand the
yeah.
action, man. He's gonna
He's not going to know what to
have
do
to
with
hold
him.
his chin up. You know,
He is not going to know what to do with himself with Corey in the booth yelling into the mic. Did you just see that? Did that just happen?
We'll see if he can handle it.
How
but,
do you say all that without cussing?
Are you kidding me? Well, and one of the drivers we had on Driver Live this weekend,
Yeah.
he found out he was going to be on Driver Live.
Yeah.
Well, he posts on Facebook, hey, all my friends, tune in. I'll be on Driver Live off Spreaker. Check this is how you get there. Hopefully I don't say
F.
and I'm just like,
Yeah.
knowing that guy's personality,
Oh,
Dude.
He got it out of the way so it didn't fall out of his mouth.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a fun
Yeah.
deal.
that was a good one.
That was cool. So we had everything from, we had dwarf cars, we had the Hornets, we had super sports, sportsmen, drag cars, late models.
Boatload of modified sport
Modified.
What were the the dwarfs you mentioned
Yeah.
that? Okay.
The
We had a
sport
fire
mod,
truck
had a fire truck. We had everything
Yeah.
but a street stock
and a sprint car.
and a sprint car.
Thanks, street stock guys.
And sprint car people.
That's the low point of the show for me right there.
Actually, yeah.
Not
because
having
we
a
had a
street
few
stock.
scheduled, but again, we understand things happen.
Things happen.
But,
We had
but
six.
it's a shame that none of them showed.
We had 6 of them scheduled to show up.
Yeah.
Last
And
one canceled. the
That's
morning.
right. We still had a very successful.
It was a
very
great show,
successful
and I understand things happen. It seemed like the street stocks were the one class of cars where they were all coming from a distance.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't seem like there was a lot of local guys right here in the heart of the valley that were.
Well, maybe that just shows how well they're going to be building their cars. They just didn't have time to come do the show because we got the Iron Giant coming up, and that's going to be a big deal. There's a lot of guys when they're taking that very serious.
Very, very serious.
I'm
And
watch my mouth here.
It is getting very serious with this street stock deal, and I'm hoping that that's a positive.
I'm sure it is.
Because if it gets too serious and guys start building cars that get out of control, you can kill a class overnight.
Well, I know one driver in particular that has a special car for Roseburg, a Roseburg only car.
Right.
So the car came from the asphalt and it's going to stay on the asphalt. So they're planning on going down and cleaning house, but we'll see how that goes.
Hey, you might have the equipment for the asphalt. You might have the equipment for the dirt.
This just like anything else.
But you still got to have a guy